Welcome back to Let's Get Haunted
with your hosts,
Nat Strawn
and Allie. Welcome back, Haunties, to episode 207 of Let's Get Haunted. It is our season 7 premiere. And if you guys would like to listen to the intro to this week's episode, head over to patreon.com/Let's Get Haunted. On tier 2, we recorded like 40 minutes of an intro. It's way too long to put on this episode. We're trying to be snappier and more efficient this year. So go ahead and check it out over there.
Yeah, this is our first episode back of the new year. For those of you guys who don't know, we take a break. So in January, we didn't upload any new content. We were still working behind the scenes, but that way it just gives us kind of a buffer so that we can start to get prepared for the coming season, because we put out an episode every single week.
If you would like to sign up for an annual subscription of our Patreon, you get a 12% discount, and we only keep that option open through this week. So this episode goes live on February 5th. We're going to keep that option open for a few more days just so that everybody gets the memo, and then that annual option disappears, and it disappears forever, unless I realized recently, if you had an annual option last year and it doesn't expire until the end of February, you can renew it automatically. But for anyone else, this is your last week. So you got to get over there and you got to subscribe, because we've got tons of really cool stuff coming out this year.
Yeah, and if you become an annual Patreon subscriber, you can shout your own self out at the end of the episode. We make like a big recording compiling of everyone who signed up for the annual, and they put their names in. You don't have to, but you can. And in order to do that, we need to close it after February, so that way at the end of every month, we're not adding more to that list, because that's just honestly just a clusterfuck. Yeah. In 2025, are we still cursing? Is this still not a family-friendly show?
Yeah, we can still curse, I think.
Okay,
I think at this point, it's like a lost cause. We would have to private all of our back catalog if we wanted to move forward cleanly. So there's no point, I don't think.
Okay.
Just a quick reminder, the very first link on our link tree is going to be the season 6 listener survey, and you get to give us feedback on things that you want to see both on Patreon and not on Patreon for 2025. And you also get to vote on your favorite episodes, your favorite mini-sodes, tons of cool stuff on there. And I do go through and read the answers, and we share them, and we talk about them, and we figure out how to improve the show moving forward. So definitely go take that survey. And I think we're at like 600 responses right now, so you don't want to be left out. That's a lot of people, guys. Make your voice heard.
And what if they all like have a real shitty opinion that you don't agree with, and they ruin the show for you?
Well, with all of that being said, Nat, are you ready to get into season 7 premiere episode 207?
Yeah, I'm ready to see what you cooked up for us. I know in the past you go like super hard on these first episodes, so I'm wondering if this is going to be a continued tradition, or if you were just able to be like, you know what, it's not that big of a deal, and I'm just going to put something out.
Yeah, in years past, I have gone really hard on the season premieres, but then last year I did kind of a whatever episode, because I realized the season premiere never makes the top 5 for favorited episodes, and I think it's because nobody remembers it, because it's from so long ago. So we'll see. I feel like I really like this episode. I don't know how everyone else is going to feel about it. Let's get into it. Are you ready?
I'm buckled up. Let's go.
Here we go. Following the comparatively idyllic summer of 2016, a time filled with Pokemon Go, the Trolls movie, and Drake's hit song One Dance, the start to 2017 was marked by a strange shift in the air. One that many would later describe as feeling almost cosmic. Like a rip in the space-time continuum had opened up, propelling humankind into an alternate reality, both familiar yet foreign. For many, this shift into a bizarre new frontier was gradual, beginning with the 2016 death of Harambe and ramping up into a full surrealist nightmare with 2017's Kendall Jenner Pepsi debacle, Fyre Fest, Russian Facebook bots, the Steele dossier, Tide Pod challenges, and Cash Me Outside, just to name a few of the year's most memeable moments.
Oh, wow.
Aside from these more mainstream pop culture passages in history, there was one corner of the web where a bomb of an internet mystery was about to be dropped. One which would explode into a mystery so tantalizing that still today, entire threads dedicated to solving it can be found spread across a multitude of online message boards. I am, of course, referring to the alien photo that shut down 4chan.
Wow, I can already tell that I'm going to really like this episode because this is like speaking to me on so many different levels. I mean, we've already got Harambe, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
And yeah, we brought Cash Me Outside Girl.
Danielle
don't know
Bergoli,
if she's alive
Bad
or dead.
Baby.
Is it Bad Baby? Is the Cash Me Outside Girl?
Yes.
Wow, good for her.
Yeah, I shamelessly really like some of her songs, like
She's
Gucci
great.
Flip Flops is a bop. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you, before we really get into the meat of this episode, what memes from 2016/2017 do you remember? Because you are the meme queen. Like, what stuff kind of stands out for you? Maybe not just memes, but like what memories, events stand out to you about this era?
2016, wow, I'm trying to think. Would this have been Justin Bieber Purpose time?
Oh, good question. Let's Google it.
Would this have been Purpose Tour? Wasn't it Life of Pablo came out?
So Purpose World Tour started March 9th of 2016 and ended September 24th, 2017. So you're right on the money.
Girl, this is my time. 2016, I was flying high.
Yeah. Life of Pablo was February 14th, 2016.
Yes, I knew this shit. Okay, this was my fucking time, you guys. I had like an undercut and I had the little swoosh that went over to the side. I wore the Yeezy boots. I went to Purpose Tour. I went to Life of Pablo twice. I was all about that shit. I had a fucking hoverboard. I was the most 2016 person you could be. Yeah, I would use it to walk my dog around downtown LA. So I remember hoverboards were huge. Street fashion was like really taking off. Like everybody really wanted that like easy Life of Pablo look. Like we were all wearing like Nike joggers. Tech was really taking off in terms of like people wanted to have like smartwatches, and yeah, it was a great time. And the music was great. You guys, I still listen to Justin Bieber. I love Justin Bieber. I'm sorry.
See, this is why I was very excited to be doing this episode, because I feel like the era that this episode takes place in is perfect. People look back so fondly on the 2016 beginning to 2017 time in history. There was a lot going on. I mean, I remember playing Pokemon Go. I fucking loved Pokemon Go. I would literally drive around to different Pokestops in the San Fernando Valley nightly. Like, this was a ritual for me. I loved it. It was such a simpler time.
It was so simple. Back. Also, Beyonce Lemonade came out like right around this time as well. Like, just it was a time of empowerment. That's what I feel like it was. Is like everybody was like really empowered during this time. And I also think maybe it was when all the Drake memes came out. You know, the one where he's like dancing and
Hotline Bling.
Yeah, Hotline Bling, and he'll be like, this, no, but then like this, yes.
Yeah, tons of good memes. And I think that's what made the shift into the dumpster fire that was 2017 even more jarring, right? And so when people look back at that jarring transition as a joke or a meme, but also kind of serious, people point to the death of Harambe in the middle of 2016 as kind of being the start of this weird shift in attitudes, culture, society, like all of this stuff was kind of changing during this time. And it's during this time that we get one of the greatest internet mysteries of 4chan. So have you ever heard of the alien photo that shut down 4chan?
No, and it's really hard for me to think of anything that would have shut down 4chan as someone who was an avid visitor to that site during this time period.
So can you explain to people in less than 5 minutes what 4chan is and how it operates?
Yeah, so 4chan is an online message board that's totally anonymous. So anyone can post to it, and if you post to it, your like username comes up as just a bunch of numbers, and it changes every time that you post. So you don't know who's posting what, and they have message boards about everything. The board that I spent the most time on was the fashion board. 4chan, because it was anonymous and because it was a bunch of memers, was notoriously mean as shit. Like, you would get your shit roasted on there no matter what it was. if you posted a picture of your outfit, for sure everyone's going to be like, go kill yourself. Yeah, that's basically, it's an online anonymous message board, but like a lot of original content came out of there because it was anonymous. So you could like post whatever memes you wanted or put whatever opinions you wanted up. And I feel like it was kind of like a free place. And obviously that led to, there is a side of 4chan that is very toxic and is, you know, just unpublishable things.
People who have never used 4chan or did not use 4chan, like for example, I didn't use 4chan. It's interesting to note that the way that 4chan works, like Nat said, is everything is anonymous and it's truly anonymous. And that's what makes it kind of a controversial app. Because on one hand, you have free-flowing ideas, mostly memes that came out of 4chan during this era, but you also have incel mentality really flourished on the site. So let's get into the story of the alien photo that shut down 4chan. Hey, it's your favorite anxious podcast host, Allie here, and I'm going to share a quick tale of woe with you all. All right, here's the story. A couple months ago, I'm sitting in my car on my lunch break, eating a sesame ball from Whole Foods, not thinking really anything of it, chewing. All of a sudden, I feel this crunch. And it was gross. And I'm thinking in my head, what was in this sesame ball? Maybe like a bug crawled into it. I don't know. My mind starts spiraling. I spit out whatever it is that I crunched down on. Don't think anything of it, throw all my trash away, go back to work. A couple weeks later, it just so happened that I had to go into my dentist for my cleaning, and as they're poking around in there, they're like, hey, did you know that a pie-shaped wedge of your back molar is missing? Do you know how alarming that is to just be told that you're missing part of your tooth and you had no idea? And so I'm talking to her and I'm like, how could this have possibly happened? And she's like, well, we've been monitoring that back tooth for a really long time, actually, because you've had this slowly growing crack because you clench and grind your teeth in your sleep. And we've been telling you to get a mouth guard and you haven't wanted to do it because it's expensive. So now I have to get a filling. Now, you might be listening to this story and saying to yourself, wow, that sounds like a personal haunting that you're dealing with, Allie, but this does not apply to me. And I'm here to tell you, you could be wrong, because most people who clench and grind their teeth actually do it in their sleep. And so many of them don't make the correlation between headaches and jaw pain and clenching and grinding your teeth in your sleep. And it seems so unfair, because if you're doing it in your sleep, how are you even supposed to avoid it? I'd have no control over what I'm doing in my sleep. I can't even control my own dreams. But that's where this week's sponsor comes in, REMI. Clenching and grinding your teeth at night can cause serious damage, such as eroding away your enamel and leading to broken teeth, which can lead to expensive dental bills. The solution to protecting your teeth is a mouth guard, but those can cost up to $800 at the dentist. The good news is that there's REMI. REMI makes dental-grade, professional-quality mouth guards without the painful price tag. They're up to 80% cheaper than what you'd pay at the dentist and don't require you to visit a dental office. REMI's process is simple. They send you an at-home impression kit to create molds of your teeth. You send those back to REMI, and their dental team will make your custom-fit guards and send them right back to you. I just completed my impression kit, and I can't wait for REMI to send me back my mouth guard. I only wish that I had done this sooner. REMI is for anyone dealing with nighttime grinding, clenching, or jaw pain who wants an affordable solution to protecting their smile. Say goodnight to jaw pain and headaches and head over to shopremi.com/haunted and use code HAUNTED to save up to 50% off. That's 50% off at shopremi.com/haunted. And don't forget to use code HAUNTED at checkout. Give your teeth a break without breaking the bank with REMI. And now back to your regularly scheduled haunting. The story of the alien photo that shut down 4chan goes as follows. On February 22nd, 2017, a photograph supposedly depicting an alien was posted to 4chan's paranormal board, X. The post was entitled 24489, taken approximately 24 miles northwest of Luke Air Force Base, Phoenix, Arizona, Lab H4C. The picture was online for no more than 30 to 60 seconds at most before, without warning, the entire 4chan website crashed and went offline.
Whoa.
Details regarding exactly how long the site was down are hazy, with some saying it only crashed for a few minutes, while others claimed the site remained inaccessible for them for hours. Whatever the case, by the time the website was back up and running, not only was the alien photo deleted from the export, but so was the entire thread the anonymous user had started with it.
Wow.
Thousands of people who had seen the photo frantically refreshed their screens in vain, trying to recover OP's post. People checked Internet Archive websites like The Wayback Machine, NeoCities, and even 4chan-specific sites like the 4chan Archives. But still, there was nothing. Later in the day, a 4chan user submitted a thread to the Politics and Current Events board poll asking if anyone had managed to grab a screenshot of the thread with the alien photo before the site had crashed. Soon, that thread began to pick up steam, with more and more users joining in, all claiming to have seen the photo too, though no one seemed to have had enough time to actually save it to their desktop. Users began uploading sketches and digital collages describing what exactly they had seen in the photo, hoping that it might eventually spark a memory in someone or encourage a user who had it saved to share it publicly. As online chatter over the query gained traction, a pastebin page was created with relevant text, coding, and information about the lost thread. But despite the thousands of people who accessed the pastebin and posted to 4chan on subsequent threads, nobody seemed to actually possess the alien photo. Programmers and hobbyists next joined forces to scrape the deleted post for any remaining metadata, and several users claimed to have traced the post to an area just northwest of Arizona's Luke Air Force Base in the desert. This finding legitimized the author's claims in the original post, and the hunt to find the missing alien photo was in full swing. In the following days, news of the mysterious photo made its way off of 4chan, spreading to other message boards like 8chan, Reddit, and even Quora. Within days, an in-depth article about the alleged post was published to the internet news site Heavy.com. Dozens of new comments and posts about the alien picture sprang forth from the chaos of the downed cloud servers that had caused 4chan's crash, with now thousands of comments echoing the same conspiracy. The leaked alien photo must be real, and the government must be covering it up. Now, almost 8 years later, opinion over the alleged photo and its accompanying narrative is split. Was the subject of the photo a genuine alien in the middle of the Arizona desert? Or was Anon's post nothing more than a clever hoax mixed with good timing? Or did the post never even exist in the first place? In order to answer these questions, we must first dive into each element of the claim. Let's begin with the description of the photo from those who claimed to witness it firsthand in the seconds before 4chan crashed.
It sounds crazy. I mean, don't answer this, but I'm just going to repeat what the hive mind is thinking.
Right.
How did they even track down, like, that it was supposedly made from outside of some Air Force base?
Yeah, I mean, I know you said don't answer it, but I'm going to tell you what my understanding is. So apparently when coders and programmers and people that are really tech savvy, which a lot of people on 4chan are really tech savvy, once they realized that people were looking for this post, people had somehow back engineered and recovered the link that now no longer existed to that original post. And so there are screenshots that I'll show you in a little bit of that original post, but the photo just shows up as a giant question mark on the post.
Oh.
And then people pulled that question mark and tried to scrape any metadata that they could from the photo. So even though the posts are anonymous, photos can sometimes still store metadata that if you know what you're doing, you can kind of come up with approximate coordinates of where the photo was taken or any other data. And so people started trying to figure out as much information as they could glean from that metadata. Now, to your point, 4chan is known for trolling, known for memes, and known for being sensationalist, just for the sake of the joke. So it's kind of fuzzy anytime we talk about a 4chan mystery or a post that originates on the site.
Can we
it's
take
hard
it seriously?
to know. Yes. Can you take it seriously? Are people being honest, or is it a giant LARP, which 4chan is well known for LARPing about tons of things.
And for this podcast, the answer is yes, we will take it seriously. We will use it as actual evidence, and that's what we do here on Let's Get Haunted. We get fucking haunted. Now, before we move on, I do want to say, Allie has been saying Anon. I, in my mind, have always called it Anon, and I want to know what other people, how you talk about Anon or Anon or Anon.
Oh,
I've always in my mind have been like, oh, Anon. That's how I shorten anonymous, but I'm interested. Yeah, to see.
Yeah, I pronounce it Anon in my head just because it's short for anonymous. So I'm like Anon, but who knows? It might not be. It might be Anon. But yeah, guys,
Anon sounds like an actual name of like a man
Adnan?
from
Yeah, yeah, that's an actual male name. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who is to say? But as Nat said, going into this episode, because it's Let's Get Haunted, we're going to suspend our disbelief until we get into the final portion of the episode where we give our opinions. So, suspending our disbelief, let's take this post at face value and first begin with the photo description from witness testimony. So, while some descriptions of the alien photo varied from person to person, the main consensus of the creature's appearance is as follows. The creature had large dark eyes, an hourglass-shaped head, light-colored skin, possibly orange, yellow, or beige in color, and the creature was either looking at the camera or slightly off to the side of the camera. The description of the background of the photo includes the following elements: a dry desert surrounding with sand and foliage, daytime setting, and a tree in the background to the left of the alien, meaning it could be seen on the right side of the photograph. The caption remains the same in all witness descriptions. 24489, taken approximately 24 miles northwest of Luke Air Force Base, Phoenix, Arizona, Lab H4C. So now that we have the basic outline of the description, I'm going to read off to you some of the first-person descriptions that people who claimed to have seen the photo before it went offline have posted and described the photo as looking like. So first up, we have user elite_crew. This is posted on Reddit. Quote, "The day that this occurred, I remember a description of the picture from a person that said they had actually seen it. They said it was an alien with a tree in the background. They said that the skin of the alien reminded them of a fruit or a vegetable. I think they said it was beige or yellow in color. They also said that it had 2 eyes, but that they looked like dried prunes, black in color, located on the front of the head where the face was under a brow ridge where the eyes rested in 2 shallow socket depressions on the face. Ew. They said the picture was shocking and made them feel physically ill when they looked at it because it was so obviously real that it was disturbing. I have tried to find this image, but everything posted seems to be intentionally fake astroturfing. I still remember the description, so if you ever see an alien with eyes that look like dried prunes, it's probably the real one." End quote.
Ew, that's such a gross image of like dried out eyes. Disgusting. Look, if the aliens come and they're ugly, that's something I hadn't considered. Yeah, I'm only human, you know, we're really programmed to like things that are attractive, and if an alien, to whoever is out there, whatever alien overlords are listening, when you send your one alien to Earth to act as messenger, make sure it's your like hottest alien, because human nature is to like reject anything that's just not attractive. So I'm sorry, your whole race might get annihilated if that one alien messenger is not
hot. Yeah. So continuing on with this thread with more descriptions, a now deleted user had responded to a question that said, "Do you remember what was so off-putting about the photo?" And this now deleted user said, quote, "Yeah, it was the life behind its eyes. It's weird to see such a realistic depiction of another humanoid while pondering the reality of its existence. It sort of kicks down the innate egocentric comfort we live in. No matter how much I know that aliens exist, there is a natural comfort in being quote-unquote uncontacted. As far as our day-to-day goes, we believe that we are the top of the food chain. When you see a picture of a humanoid you believe to be capable of things so much greater than your wildest dreams, it makes you stop and think about your place in the cosmos. It can only be an overwhelming existential feeling to pull from a single image. End quote. Another user continued on in this thread and said, quote, I saw when it happened. This description fits perfectly with my recollection, right down to the incredible feeling of unease when viewing. There was something more real about it than any representation I've ever seen on film or hoax or supposed evidence. Like my brain and body knew that I was just looking at something real and quote-unquote different. Another user wrote, quote, the image that I saw during this period was extremely high resolution, perhaps even the highest resolution photo I've ever encountered in my life. I was using Retina MacBook Pro 15-inch, so the screen was top-notch too. The environment was absolutely a photo, but the being could have been rendered. It looked that way to me possibly because it was so alien, so to speak. The detail was stunning, and so many people claimed to feel sick from seeing it. It made me feel really uncomfortable, but not necessarily sick. It wasn't looking directly at the camera, more so to the side of it, and like its eyes had a greater field of vision than that of a human's. I didn't save it or participate in the thread because I don't take anything too seriously on 4chan. But watching the thread and then the entire site get nuked in real time was such a strange experience. I did attempt to recover the image from my cache, as did many others, but all recoveries of this image were corrupted to some degree. Missing chunks, drastically lowered resolution, gray or green scale, added noise, minimal color depth. Someone tried to stitch many of the incomplete image parts into one Franken-alien, but it just wasn't the same as the original. End quote. Another user responded to the thread asking a question, saying, even if 4chan went down for 45 seconds after the image was posted, everyone looking at the thread could still have screenshotted or saved it unless they cleared their cache and refreshed their page. That's what makes me think this was just a LARP. Another user responded saying, I saw it that night, 100%. I'm not a crazy person, not someone who's ever had visitations or sightings or anything like that, but 100% I saw it. And it's none of the images that are circulating online now. To answer your question about why people didn't screenshot or save it, A, a lot of people reported the file being corrupt upon download or even supposedly self-deleting as this was all happening. 4chan was not down for just 45 seconds. It had a major outage that lasted between 10 minutes and a few hours, depending on your luck connecting. I don't know if I believe that would cause a particular file to corrupt or that anything would ever self-delete, but those seem to be the prevailing claims. But B, I didn't save it because I did not want to. This shit was different, man. It was fucking unnerving. That's why everyone went wild when they saw it. It wasn't just a dumb internet kids overreacting to the images you see circulating now. I fundamentally did not want to save it to my hard drive. I was spooked by it. And for my master's dissertation on new wave screen violence, I watched a significant amount of execution videos and really nasty real-world violence on the daily. I don't have a weak tolerance for mental unease. That shit I didn't want anywhere near my hard drive. The moment I saw it, my brain and body recognized it as something very, very wrong.
I mean, it sounds... I want to see the picture, first of all. Second of all, can we really trust this guy who's like, I watch fucked up videos of people dying every single day. I'm not mentally unstable. You can trust what I'm saying. Like, excuse me, sir. It sounds like you might be a candidate for being mentally unstable. But as someone who's mentally unstable myself, probably in the eyes of a lot of other people, I do sympathize. Sometimes people assume that your opinions are not valid just because you get a little crazy every once in a while. you know, you go to jail for a little bit of mushrooms every once in a while, one time, and everyone suddenly thinks you're not reliable.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard, right? Because on one hand, I think it's hard to take anybody seriously online because you can't see them face to face anyway. Like, you don't know who's behind that keyboard. Is it a Russian bot? Is it I don't know, is it some guy in his basement? But at the same time, you and I are online. You were on 4chan and you would consider yourself a reliable narrator. So who's to say?
I think that sentiment, though, of not knowing what the person looks like because they are anonymous does come from this very judgmental part of our human nature, you know, designed to protect ourselves, where I'm like, what does a trustworthy person look like, Natalia?
True.
You know?
Right.
That's so judgmental, you know?
Right. It's going to be the MLM stay-at-home mom that's actually the least trustworthy versus like the guy that looks super fucking tired, covered in dirt because he's a welder or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So to your point, what we view as trustworthy is going to be different from person to person.
And I also think too, you know, like if the person's wearing a tin hat and they look like they haven't showered in 6 months and, you know, are not participating in society, the judgmental part of us is probably going to be like, okay, this person is off their rocker, can't trust what they're saying. Or is it a little kid? Like if this is, you know, some 13-year-old who's using their parents' MacBook, that's also going to seem a little bit untrustworthy because they don't have the same life experience, you know? So I don't know. Again, this podcast isn't about whether we trust people or not. I'm just merely pointing out that it's an interesting dynamic we have here of
on
like,
the internet.
Because 4chan is anonymous, that somehow makes it less reliable, but also more reliable, you know? It's crazy.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We often hear about the red flags that we should avoid in relationships, like if they can only hang out with you when the moon isn't full, or they run a dream survey from their basement. Those might be red flags. But what if we focused more on looking for green flags in our friends and partners? Like, what if they knew how to make a key lime pie from scratch and also owned a spaceship? If you're not sure what a green flag looks like, therapy can help. Want to give therapy a try but are too busy to get in to see someone in person, or maybe you live in an area without access? Consider giving BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/gethaunted to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/gethaunted. And now back to your regularly scheduled haunting. Yeah, it's hard to figure out what to take seriously and what to not take seriously. But at the very least, we have 5 separate individuals that claim to have been on 4chan that night. 4 of them claim to have seen the photo firsthand. One of them says that they were on 4chan that night, didn't see it firsthand, but saw the subsequent threads and descriptions that came after the site went back online. So interesting so far. Now, the person who provided the most detail on this thread is a user going by the name Miralux. And Miralux responded to a comment that somebody else had left on this thread that said, "Can you detail what it looked like since it's still so vivid in your mind's eye?" The user responded saying, quote, "I shall do my best. As with another person in this thread who claimed they saw it, and I believe fits with my experience, there is a certain amount of sort of brain fog when trying to recollect it in detail. I think this may be an element of the fear/revulsion response, so giving you a clear description of the face may not be as easy as one might think. It's hazy in my mind at best. That being said, I remember all of what I thought at the time. 1. First and foremost, I remember thinking, holy shit, that looks more like a gray than I expected them to. My brain had accepted that it was an alien as fact in a way that no other claimed depictions ever have. This alien seemed tall, not small, at least from what I could tell. Its skin was not gray, more like an off-color yellow with some visible elements under the skin and not entirely even. Someone described it as being like vegetable skin, which I guess is a pretty good analogy. Its eyes were not a perfect oval shape and perhaps had a slight texture to them. They were large, though. I struggled to remember the mouth. 2. I remember thinking, and not in a funny way, that it looked like the alien was trying to take a selfie, but that it didn't really understand what a selfie was. Like it was taking it from almost stomach height and didn't necessarily pose the lens correctly toward the face. It was odd. 3. It didn't look like a weak thing. I'm not saying that it was like shredded with muscle or anything, but this wasn't the classic image of the small-bodied alien. I wouldn't want to fight it. 4. It seemed expressive in a way, in its face and positioning. I don't really remember reading a mood or understanding what that expression may be, but it seemed like it was trying to convey something. 5. The desert scene behind, the image quality, everything about it struck me as real. When you see CGI, even if it's very, very good, you still know it's CGI. I've been a graphic designer for nearly a decade. I know my way around Photoshop. Now, I didn't examine it in detail, but even from a glance, you can tell that this would require a team of very talented digital artists to get close to this. And even then, to imagine such a thing seems highly unlikely. 6. I wouldn't say that it looked like it was reptilian, but if somebody told me that this thing was a cross between a traditional gray alien and a reptilian, then I would absolutely believe them. The slightly visible vein network under its waxy skin was something I remember seeing that struck me as inherently reptilian or animalistic. 7. There is a detail about the mouth that I cannot remember. I know that sounds weird. Its face is so hard for me to remember. Please take this next part as complete conjecture. Either it had quite vicious little teeth in a small sort of human mouth, or the mouth was kind of doing a sort of surprised expression. And I just remember that shocked me because I didn't know what it meant, and I remember I could see a quite pink tongue in its mouth. Or possibly it was both of these things. I have those as almost memories, but they're not clear like the other elements. It's a very difficult thing to memorize an image entirely, even such a striking one. I hope that helps. End quote.
So, are we to believe that this alien tried to take a selfie of themselves and then uploaded it to 4chan? Is that kind of where everyone else is going with it? And then the government stepped in and they were like, oh no, you can't do that. But then also there was some details previously where they were saying it was like the most high quality photo they've ever seen. So was it alien technology? Like, was this an alien camera that can't be processed by human eyes or human computers? You know what I mean?
To answer your first question, so there's two categories, right? People who think the image was fake, people who think the image was real. Out of the category of people that think the image was real, it seems split into two more subgroups, which is the alien took a selfie because that's kind of the angle it was taken at, or the photo was taken by somebody that stumbled upon the alien and the picture is just at a weird angle for whatever reason. But yeah, it seems like the consensus is that this was not a blurry photo. It was not low resolution. It was in fact extremely high resolution, which would indicate some type of technology, whether a camera or something else, that would be owned by a professional, right? You would think, because regular people don't just stumble around with super high-res cameras. They're super expensive.
Right.
Now, let's look at two more descriptions. These two come from 4chan. This anonymous user posted on Wednesday, the 22nd of February, 2017, saying, quote, "So far, we have witness accounts stating that the alien's head was seen from the left side and it was looking to the left in the picture and slightly at the camera, almost diagonally." Another person wrote, quote, "I did see the alien, yellow scales, black eyes with small pursed lips. I thought it was a shill thread, so I didn't click to open, but I did see the pic." Another person said, 24489 taken approximately 24 miles northwest of Luke Air Force Base, Phoenix, Arizona, Lab H4C, end quote. Another person said, quote, "The Lamal looked like it had scales all over and was dark in color. Its eyes looked like dried up prunes and had human-like features, but much smaller in comparison to its head." So that all of those descriptions are compiled by this one anonymous user. And then the anonymous user says, after all of these quotes, "Do not let this thread slide." Another person responded saying, Quote, I was in this thread. I saw the image. It was super high resolution, extremely lifelike, and I actually thought that it must just be a wallpaper or CGI. The alien was yellow, scaled, and looking down and to its right, cut off from the shoulders, so it was essentially just a profile. It had black reptilian-looking eyes and a small mouth with no/hardly any lips. The backdrop was just barren desert with foliage. There wasn't a tree, so I'm not sure where this tree shit is coming from. I thought it was a graphics from a game or some shit and didn't think twice about it. I promise I'm being legit. You can ask me more, but that's really all I remember. I remember thinking it was just a cool looking game or movie trailer poster graphic. The thread disappeared, only had about 20 or so comments on it. Nothing happened to my computer. I didn't feel sick, probably because I just thought I was looking at a game poster. Again, it was super high res and very detailed. And then the cloud servers went down and I refreshed and it wasn't there anymore. Now that we've summed up all of the different descriptions of the alien photo that have been given, I want to go into the caption of the original post, which allegedly was 24489, taken approximately 24 miles northwest of Luke Air Force Base, Phoenix, Arizona, Lab H4C. Natalia, have you ever heard of Luke Air Force Base?
Maybe. I don't know. Is that a real Air Force base that's outside of Phoenix?
Yeah, it is definitely a real Air Force base. It's often abbreviated to just Luke AFB or just the word Luke, and it's located in Maricopa County, Arizona. The base serves as a major training location for pilots learning to fly stealth supersonic fighter jets used in combat. The location of Luke Air Force Base was chosen in 1940 after the city of Phoenix offered to lease the land to the government for $1 a year. An integral part of Luke's appeal as a state-of-the-art training range is its proximity to the Barry M. Goldwater Air Force Range, which covers 1.9 million acres of relatively undisturbed Sonoran Desert southwest of Luke AFB. Interestingly, Luke Air Force Base is relatively close to the site of a famous UFO crash, known as the Kingman UFO crash of May 1953, which we briefly discussed last season in episode 183 of Let's Get Haunted, entitled Underwater UFOs and USO/UAP Basics. But as a quick refresher, the story of the Kingman crash is that in May of 1953, the Air Force transported 40 people, mostly engineers, by bus into the Arizona desert to examine a crash scene. Once they arrived on site, the witnesses described seeing a 14-foot tall, 30-foot wide metal object that was embedded about 20 inches into the sandy soil. After some calculations, the engineers came to the realization that the craft must have crashed going about 1,200 miles an hour. Also present at the site was the body of the pilot of the craft, which was described as a 4-foot tall being in a silver metallic suit. Kingman, Arizona is about 170 miles northwest of Luke AFB, and while the exact coordinates have never been revealed, the site of the Kingman UFO crash is said to have taken place east of the city in the uninhabited desert. So remember that the caption of the 4chan photo says that it was taken approximately 24 miles northwest of Luke Air Force Base, which would be in the direction of the Kingman crash to the east. So
Right.
Could this photo be a reference to the Kingman UFO crash site? And perhaps the site of this historic UFO encounter serves as a spawn point or portal of those desiring to visit our planet, and the 4chan alien photo is one such being? So that's one idea people had.
I want to see the picture. Are you going to show me a picture?
So the picture, like I just said, the original photo has never been recovered. It was deleted, but I'm going to show you some photos that have claimed to be the photo. I'm going to show you some photos that claim to be the low resolution pixelated photo that some of the coders were able to pull from the website after it went down. I'm going to show you some recreations and we'll look at those together. In this section, I'm just basically going over the caption and whether or not we can find out anything that might point to the original photo being real or fake based on the caption, because that's really all we have at this point since we don't have a verified copy of the photo. You should love your hair, but that can be hard when you're dealing with shedding or thinning. Luckily, NUTRAFOL is here to help. Their whole body approach to hair health works from the inside out, so you can start loving your hair again. My goal for 2025 is to grow longer, stronger, and healthier hair so I can more closely resemble a werewolf. But your hair is about so much more than just what you see in the mirror. From stress and nutrition to hormones and lifestyle, so many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. With NUTRAFOL's science-backed approach, nourish growth from within and achieve your best hair yet in 2025. NUTRAFOL is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people, and you can be one of them. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with NUTRAFOL. Start your hair growth journey today. For a limited time, NUTRAFOL is offering our listeners $10 off their first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code HAUNTED. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend NUTRAFOL for healthier hair. That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code HAUNTED. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code HAUNTED. And now back to your regularly scheduled haunting. Right. So, besides the Kingman incident, Arizona's also home to the 1997 Phoenix Lights incident, where thousands of people reported seeing a large V-shaped formation of lights in the sky between Phoenix and Tucson, described as being a mile wide. More recently...
A mile wide is crazy.
Yeah, and the Phoenix Lights incident, okay, that one, because it's relatively recent, it happened in 1997, that one is still talked about all the time. It gets brought up all the time. There were thousands of people that saw this. It was a V-shaped formation of lights in the sky, and by some accounts, yeah, it was a mile wide. And after that mass sighting, it was so big that the governor couldn't ignore it. So he held this press conference, and I swear to you, this is real. This really happened, but it sounds like a bad movie. He brought up a guy dressed in a mascot alien suit and was like, "Hey guys, we found who was behind the Phoenix Lights, ha ha ha." And it was so poorly received because the people that saw this, I mean, again, we're talking about thousands of people. They're like, "You're not even giving us any information on what we saw. You're just bringing up, you're just bringing up a weird guy in an alien suit to like make fun of us."
Now I'll ask Officer Stein and his colleagues to escort the accused into the room so that we may all look upon the guilty party. Don't get him too close to me, please.
In the alien costume, the governor's chief of staff.
Now, this just goes to show that you guys are entirely too serious.
UFO enthusiasts were not amused.
And that guy, I believe, actually apologized at the end of, like, when he was done being governor and he got interviewed again. People were like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, I don't know why I did that. It was in poor taste. Like, my bad." So that is one of the most famous. Yeah, that's one of the most famous Arizona sightings. Now, more recently, a resident living near Luke AFB filmed what they described as a UFO being chased by a fighter jet.
Shit,
it's just a bright ass dot.
It won't go nowhere. You got your binoculars on, right?
Yeah. It's just hovering.
Okay, here's me. Look.
And it's not a helicopter.
It's not, babe. I just seen it go. It's just freaking me out. It went up and down. It just stayed in one spot.
Yeah.
Okay, put those binoculars here. Look. You see how it went dim?
Yeah.
Look what it's doing.
What the fuck?
Look what it's doing, babe.
Oh my god, I'm following it with the binoculars.
Call your mom. Just yell out to your mom.
Mom!
So there was like a guy in the house filming above the roof of a different house, and there's like a little blinky light. I mean, it's poor resolution. It's like a 2018 camera phone, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to see what it is, but it's like, yeah, a light, and it's either moving really, really quickly so the camera can't focus on it and it looks like it's like blinking and twinkling, or it's just blinking and twinkling. And then at one point, like, another light comes up and sort of comes up to it and then flies over it, and then it moves along and kind of like flies in the opposite direction. It's strange.
It's really strange. And while UFO skeptics are quick to point out that reports of strange, unidentified crafts in the area are likely just misidentified experimental military planes or flares, believers wonder if the military facilities were built in this region of the country due to it being a hot spot for paranormal and alien activity.
Oh, wow.
For many, it comes down to a question of what came first, the aliens or the humans? Could this area in the Sonoran Desert have been a frequent visitation site of aliens and UFOs due to its remoteness, which then attracts military installations dead set on studying them? Or did the military installations spring up first due to the remoteness of the area, and then the aliens came by to study us? In either case, for believers in extraterrestrials, a picture of an alien stranded in the desert in this part of the world makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot cooler if the aliens came first and then they built the Air Force Base where the aliens had been sighted.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is hard to say, because if you really were aliens and you're checking out what the humans are doing, you're not going to go look at, Sarah May Lynn over there with her homesteaded chickens, like walking around the yard. You're going to go be like, holy fuck, like they're building
nuclear weapon
over here. This is real cool, I don't know what the aliens are like. Maybe they have radar technology in their eyes. Maybe they can see radiation, and so they're like attracted to stuff that gives off radiation, and so they're like going over there like a moth to the flame, like, what is this,
Right. Yeah, they do seem to be interested in our military facilities for whatever reason, and that's become increasingly clear as we have more and more UAP whistleblower hearings. That's one of the common themes that is always touched on, like whatever these UFOs are, these orbs, crafts are, they seem to be really interested in what we're doing at our military facilities. So we know that Luke Air Force Base is real. It exists. And we know that the approximate coordinates of the photo could also make sense, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything by itself. So next, online sleuths decided to look at the second part of the caption, which is Lab H4C. So a top secret lab that studies aliens would likely not be found via a simple Google search, but people online figured, hey, it's worth a shot. We at least have to try to see if we can corroborate this part of the caption. On Luke AFB's own website, it is easy to find a variety of locations described as laboratories, but they seem to all be medical labs that process X-ray images and blood tests of soldiers. And then there's also another lab that's called an innovations lab that's geared towards children of military personnel living on the base who want to engage in a variety of STEM activities for fun as an extracurricular. And none of these seem like the type of place you'd drag a stranded alien to. But if you look outside of Luke AFB, commenters point to a lab called AZ Labs, which is located in Mesa, Arizona. Located about an hour east of Luke AFB, AZ Labs' website describes itself as follows, quote, AZ Labs is a security in-depth campus designed to host companies in need of offices and industrial laboratories that are ideally suited for research and development, engineering, simulation, computing, cybersecurity, autonomous systems, and other sensitive projects. AZ Labs maintains Department of Defense security accreditations to support a broad range of proprietary projects, including experiments, prototype evaluations, and distributed test and training with access to a highly skilled, tech-centric workforce. The campus includes a 6.5-acre secure facility with 5 buildings offering more than 85,000 square feet of leasable industrial, laboratory, and office space, end quote. So, perhaps Lab H4C could be one of the top secret labs with DoD clearance found within AZ Labs? There wasn't much to go on connecting this lab with the photo, but it is interesting that a lab with Department of Defense clearance, which used to be operated exclusively by the Air Force until 2014, can be found in relatively close proximity to the alleged site of the photo. Finally, the last element of the photo's caption to be dug into is the beginning number sequence, 24489. The number could just be a random sequence assigned to it for reference purposes, or it could be a chronological number assigned to it for reference purposes, such as the 24,489th photo taken by the lab studying the specimen, but it could also refer to something more concrete, such as maybe a date. perhaps standing for 24th of April, 1989. So the next thing that online sleuths did was take a look at some of the events that occurred on April 24th, 1989 to see if we can draw any parallels. On this day in history, the following things occurred. Tom Petty released his first solo album, Full Moon Fever, which featured the hit singles Free Fallin' and Runnin' Down a Dream. Massachusetts officially declared the day as New Kids on the Block Day. And the Tiananmen Square protests were in full swing in China, which would eventually end in a massacre on June 3rd through the 4th. So none of these events seem to be related to the alien photo unless you think, oh, and then I wrote a bad joke here. Unless you think Tom Petty's Free Fallin' is about an alien spaceship crashing out of the sky. So people were like, all right.
I think it was good. I think you need to re-say the delivery, like, in the same tone.
None of these events seem to be related to the alien photo. Unless you think Tom Petty's Free Fallin' is about an alien spaceship crashing out of the sky. Finally, and this is the most unhinged take on the numbers 24489, many speculated it could refer to a flight number. The flight that pops up when you search Flight 2249 is a B-17 built by Boeing that was shot down on December 20th, 1942, while on a mission to bomb the German air depot in France. And it's thought to have been shot down by an enemy aircraft and crashed near Paris. But maybe that's a cover story for it being shot down by a UFO. A photo of this B-17 with its crew can be found online, and they painted the words Terry and the Pirates on the exterior of the plane. And there is a photo snapped of King George shaking the hands of some of the crewmates, which I'll show you in just a second. But it doesn't appear that this flight has any connection to the alien photo, other than some people wondering if maybe the flight was taken down by a UFO. However, even if they were gunned down by a UFO in 1942, to me, at least, it seems really unlikely that this would have any relation to a high-resolution photo taken of an alien in the Sonoran Desert in 2017. So I'm going to send you this photo of the B-17, but while I'm doing that, I just want to know, do you have any ideas that I haven't already mentioned yet about what 24489 could stand for?
I mean, it could be a case number if we were going to go with the theory that this is, you know, some sort of government studying some sort of extraterrestrial. Then maybe it's a case number. Maybe this is case 2249 or whatever it was. Date seems unlikely to me because I feel like if I was to categorize photos by dates, I would put like the 3 letters for the month just so that it's not confusing at all. Like if it was April, I would put like APR and then 24. But then maybe someone's going to think, actually, it's an ad for a credit card that has 24.9% APR. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm trying to make up interesting comments for this episode, but I don't know, okay? Allie, you always do this thing where you ask me questions that have no right answers, and so I don't know when to stop talking. I could just continue to theorize forever, couldn't I?
That is the frustrating thing about some of these internet mysteries. They're very interesting and very tantalizing because we could go in a million different directions trying to figure out what each little thing means, because as with most internet mysteries, there's no resolution. You don't know for sure if something is real or not, if it's a hoax or not. It's kind of like Lake City Quiet Pills, which if you guys didn't listen to that episode, no time to explain, you got to go back and listen to it. But it's similar in that there's just enough information to be able to draw some parallels, but we'll never know if it is the right conclusion or not that we come to by the end of this episode. So I just sent you a picture of the B-17 that was shot down. It was flight 24489. Can you describe it to our listeners?
Yes, so this is a black and white photo that says at the bottom, photo of B-17, number 4124489 / Terry and the Pirates. And it is a bunch of military personnel all standing in front of a B-17 that says Terry and the Pirates. But what's interesting about this is because is that all of these people look so 1940s to me. Like, I don't know what it was, but like all of their faces, the clothes, like they're wearing those really cool bomber jackets, like the aviation bomber jackets that are leather, you know, with like the fold over collar. And I mean, everyone looks like they're just from an episode of like Leave It to Beaver or something. Or no, what's a show from the 40s?
White Christmas, maybe? White Christmas is 1954. Hold on. What movies 1940s? We've got Fantasia. Casablanca. Here we go. Casablanca. That's a 1942 film. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody literally looks like they could be in Casablanca. And I'm also assuming that all of these men are in their like 20s or 30s because they're in the military and they're Air Force pilots, but they look like they could use some water and sleep, you know? Maybe that's just part of going to war, or did people really just look old back then? I don't know.
I think part of it is because I see Zoomers saying this about our generation, the millennials, that they look back on old photos of us and they're like, oh, you guys looked so old. But I think a lot of it has to do with style. I think styles become antiquated, like clothing. And so then when you see someone in that clothing or style, they just look old to you. But yeah,
Zoomers think we look old?
Yeah, they do.
What?
I know.
We look great. What are you talking about? Fuck you guys.
Okay, so now that we're moving on from the caption, we're going to get into some of the photos that have floated around the internet as either the real photo or possibly a recreation of the photo. And there's a lot. I think I've collected every single one that's ever existed.
Wow.
So I'm going to send you the first one. That's what took the longest part of researching this episode, to be honest. So here is the first one.
Okay, let's see. Oh my god. This is making me so unhappy. I see exactly what people meant about this. Are we going to flash these images up on the screen?
Yes, we are. We will.
Okay. Yeah. And what about people, if they want to see these images, where do they go? We don't know yet.
I think for this one, we're safe to go over to Instagram still. If you guys aren't apprised of the tea, you have to go over to Patreon. There's no time to explain. We had an issue in the off season. We might not be able to post some of these to Insta anymore. Yeah. I'm going to post them on Insta for now. Look, we all know sleep is one of the most important things you can do for your body, but it's easier said than done. And sometimes getting good quality sleep seems impossible, especially if, like me, you're living with a partner with opposite sleep preferences. I constantly run too cold, my boyfriend runs too hot, and it can be hard to find sheets that meet both of our needs. But with the help of this week's sponsor, we found a great middle ground through Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat, which can lead to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses, and beyond that, it's honestly just gross. Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning antibacterial bedding such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent up to 99.7% of bacteria growth and require up to 3 times less laundry. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresher 3 times longer than other sheets, which means no more gross odors. Miracle Made sheets are also thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather, so you can get better sleep every night. Upgrade your sleep this year. Go to trymiracle.com/haunted to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code HAUNTED at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product that it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/haunted and use the code HAUNTED to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/haunted to treat yourself. Thanks, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this week's episode. And now back to your regularly scheduled haunting.
Well, this first picture is of what looks like a man, but he's an alien. I mean, he looks like a man, but his skin is like chicken skin. You know, like after a chicken has all their feathers like plucked out and they kind of have like those spaces where the quills would go. It's like little chicken bumps everywhere.
Right.
And is just like, you know that color when you need a liver transplant?
Yeah, jaundice?
Yes, that. It looks like a very jaundiced man. Yeah, the sunken in eyes that look like Dried prunes. I mean, it's gross. It's gross. This is an ugly thing. This is what I was talking about earlier. Like, if the aliens send down a messenger, like, you can't have it this.
Right.
If that's the best you can do, put some clothes on it or something, you know, give it a wig or something. I don't know. It's just scary looking.
It's weird looking.
You need to cover up as much of that as possible. Like, you put it in a fucking full ninja suit with sunglasses on and just say that, like, the aliens are, like, allergic to the sun, so they can't take off their protective coloring or something. Make some shit up. Do not let this be your legacy, aliens.
Yeah, and people have pointed out this one does look super fake. Like, it looks kind of like gummy in a sense.
Yeah.
It looks almost like SFX makeup on a human. People have pointed out, look, this thing has nipples. Why would an alien have nipples? And then other people have pointed out that it looks like it might be some sort of rendering or model that is going to be used in a video game. See, if anyone knows the origin of the photo, let me know. But reverse image search and scrolling through a ton of comments, I was not able to find a definitive origin. So I'm going to send you the next one now. These are 3 images that come from 4chan.
Okay, well, this is way scarier. The first one is a screenshot of 4chan with 2 photos in the roll. The first one has, yeah, it looks like 2 aliens in there, but these aliens are a lot more like alien looking to me. They have crazy, like, nostrils that aren't covered up by, like, a nose cavity. It would be like if someone, like, shaved from the tip of your nose up to where your eyes are, and so, like, the front of your nose is just, like, 2 big holes. And yeah, they've got real strange, I don't even know how to describe. Do they also have a third eye? It looks like this one, there's one on the left that has its mouth open and it's, like, in agony, like, ah, and it appears to have, like, a third eye perhaps, or something in the center of its forehead. Real ugly, but they do look like they could be more real than that first one.
Yeah, more
but yeah,
legit.
the photo is kind of, what do you call this? It's like messed up. Like,
Yeah, it
there's,
has like
chunks of it
artifacts. Yeah.
missing. Yeah. Second photo is also from 4chan, but this one looks like really fuzzy and out of focus. And this one kind of reminds me of like a 1940s sci-fi film. It's not as unsettling as the first 2.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And yeah, it's just like a little alien standing, and then he kind of looks cute, like he's small, you know, SMOL.
Yeah, he looks like a little bug. I'm going to send you another one. This one is what appears on Know Your Meme. If you Google, Know Your Meme says, this is the one that was posted. It's so fake. But people who saw it say this is absolutely not it. So I don't know, but I just sent it to you so you can explain in case people Google and they see the Know Your Meme post.
Oh yeah, it says Know Your Meme, and then it's like 4chan alien sighting hoax, and then it has, yeah, like an alien that has like a really wide set jaw, and, you know, looks like a classic alien, but it's showing all of the photos that are supposedly the alien sighting, and then next to it showing like a life-size 3D sculpture of an alien to show that, like, hey, no, this is actually just someone took a picture of this sculpture and like overlaid it on something,
on like a postcard. Yeah, and I think too, I forgot to say this earlier, but 4chan calls aliens LMAOs, like LMAOs. That's their shorthand for alien.
Wow.
All right, so I'm sending you another one now.
Okay, this is another alien in front of, you know, the classic, what do you call those kind of, a cactus? I forget the name in the
Joshua
background.
trees, I think.
Yes. Yeah, this is a alien in front of a bunch of Joshua trees. Now, this alien is fugly, unfortunately. This one doesn't have a nose. It's kind of more akin to Voldemort. In its shape and presentation. It has a really long neck, and it's bald, and it doesn't have ears, and it doesn't have a nose, and it barely has a mouth. And yeah, the eyes are like real small, shrunken in like tiny blueberries.
All right, I just sent you another.
This one has, yeah, Joshua trees with a bunch of elements missing, and there's like an alien standing in front of the Joshua tree, but like parts of its face are blurred, parts of it are enlarged. It looks like it's corrupted. The data is corrupted. And then underneath it, someone said, "This is not the real image. This is one of many images uploaded after the original got deleted. All I can remember the real image is like having reptilian skin and the lips dried like with a fungus or something, and it's not looking directly to the camera. Every time I think about it, it's giving me chill till now. It's really disturbing, and you'll know once you see it, that image is real."
So I'm sending you another.
Yeah, I mean, all of these are just different variations of an alien standing in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them have bigger eyes. Some of them have smaller eyes. Some of them look more humanoid. Some of them look like more rendered. Some of them look like they're from like 1940s sci-fi movie. Some of them look like they're super high quality, like almost so high quality that it doesn't match the background of the photo.
And then
Yeah.
I'm sending you this one. This is the one that most people think is probably real, but it's corrupted. So there's like a attempt to collage it back together, and then there's the corrupted file. So if you want to explain that one.
Yeah, this one, it looks like it's almost like a puzzle, and like each one of the puzzle pieces has like a different quality. Like some are more fuzzy, some are less fuzzy. Like, yes, it is a bunch of images stitched together, and it is an alien with like a really long neck, and the neck kind of looks like a churro. Like it's got a bunch of ridges in it. Here's another one Allie just sent me. This one's kind of sad. This alien looks sort of defeated. Like, you know, the hopes and dreams are gone. I mean, this alien that you just sent me looks like he's on his last life. Underneath his eyes are real pink, and his nose is kind of like pink, and it looks like an infection or something is setting in.
So this one that I'm sending you now shows like the right-hand corner of an alien head with a desert scene in the background. And that one, people say this little box image is the only real part of the photo that remains.
Some of these kind of look like The Mask. You know that movie with Jim Carrey where like the mask takes over his face or whatever?
That movie scared the shit out of me as a child.
Some of those kind of remind me of this one is someone's trying to show how the photo looked. Like they've drawn the rest of the photo around that one like real piece. I guess the real piece that's left of the alien is like their jaw, and then they drew like the rest of the alien around it.
The very last photo that some people say could be the alien.
Yeah, this one's really fuzzy and almost looks like a watercolor painting or something. This alien has a very nice sculpted jaw.
That alien is mewing for sure.
The mewing streak is not interrupted.
And then, so now I'm sending you a timeline.
Is it a timeline?
Yeah, this is a timeline that somebody created. I don't know the original author because it's just been reposted so many times. But this is allegedly what the order of the photos come from. And it's kind of debunking these. Like, okay, first there was a like hollow screen is what it's called. The site went down, it came back up. This was what was showing. There's so many, right? There's so many photos. But I will show you, this is allegedly a screenshot of the post as it appeared after the website came back up. So let me send that to you.
All right, this screenshot, yeah, it just looks like a 4chan post. It's saying the file is called sticky.jpg and it has 571 kilobytes. It's 1600 by 1131 pixels or whatever. And the photo is just coming up black with a question mark.
Right. And some of these aliens, it's good that they're circulating because they're easily debunked. Somebody had edited a photo from Five Nights at Freddy, the video game, and said, oh, it's the alien, it's the corrupted file of the alien, but it's not. Then there was another one that I'll send you that looked super real. It was probably the most realistic looking, but then people realized it was actually just special effects from an X-Files episode. Like somebody created an alien doll. So I just sent you that one.
That is so gross and terrifying. Yeah, this is like an alien prop that looks so fucking scary
Yeah, that one looks the
And
most real, but it's fake.
yeah, that thing
Right.
looks super real, but it's fake for sure. Like, I don't
So
know.
all of these photos that I'm showing you have been posted before. That's how I found them, obviously, is that they've been posted on either 4chan or Imgur or Tumblr or Pastebin or Reddit. And so none of these are new, which means that people have commented on threads that have shown these photos. So I'm going to read some of the comments. So this person says, I saw the picture when it happened, freaked the absolute fuck out of me, and it's 100% not any of the ones that I've seen linked since. I've tried aiding the search in other threads, but it never amounted to anything. On the night it happened, people were even reporting it supposedly self-deleted from their hard drive. But yeah, I saw it, 100% freaky shit, and none of these are that photo. This next person said, quote, I was there on 4chan that night, and I remember they were trying to recreate the image from a corrupt file. I don't know if anyone truly has the original, but everything else is from trying to decrypt the file as much as possible, so it's original, but many variations come out of it. I remember seeing the original back when it happened, but I never saved it, and if I did, it would be on an old HDD that I don't even use or may not have anymore. You'll never see the true image again, unfortunately. Maybe someone screen capped it, but who knows? And I doubt it would be uploaded after having the government overload 4chan on purpose, which is what many of us believe happened. This next person said, I've heard about it and, like you, saw the floating pics in the aftermath. I do believe I saw the correct one, which was basically a selfie of an alien standing with dirt in the background. It was mostly just their face and upper shoulder area. It was very off-putting, but I am ridiculously desensitized to this from my many years of researching this case. The images posted above I have not seen before, but none of them really look like what I saw. Nat, to close out this story before we get into the theories, I'm just going to read a screenshot from 4chan recapping the order of events so that everything is clear in our minds going into the theories. So this post was written on February 25th, 2017, 3 days after the alien photo post is supposed to have occurred. Quote, timeline of events. Someone/something posted a picture of an alien on poll. All of a sudden, massive shill threads pop up. 4chan goes down for a significant amount of time, confirmed by nearly every board. The thread is deleted. The thread is not in the archives. No one has the picture, or they are too afraid to post it. Picture was a reptilian-scaled yellow alien with purple bags under its eyes, black eyes, taking a selfie. Background is a desert with a tree. Side profile, hourglass head, small pursed lips. Anons claim that when they tried to download it, it didn't download or it had vanished off their hard drive after people who claim they saw it say they felt sick, vomited, shook/vibrated, severe psychological effects. No one admitted to shitting themselves though. Someone saved image data and they traced post to northwest of a military base in Arizona. Tree described checks out as being an Arizona desert tree. General consensus is that a literal alien posted a selfie of itself on poll and the government removed everything about it. Final conclusions, Anons waste hours of time afterwards. End quote. So now we're going to get into the theories. The first category of theories is that a lot of people believe that the photo that was posted was real, that it was a real photo of a genuine alien. So let's look at some of the points towards the photo being real. Point number one, tons of people claim to have seen it. And the way that they describe seeing it, it seems believable. A lot of people say that they were really affected by this photo. They post really long explanations of what it looked like. They spent hours of their time trying to recover the photo. So that could possibly be a point towards the photo being real. Now, counterpoint might be there's lots of people on the internet with a lot of time on their hands, myself included apparently, because I went looking for this photo. So that doesn't necessarily mean the photo was ever real just because a lot of people are interested in it. However, a lot of people do point out it's very interesting that right after the photo was posted, 4chan went down. It was a site-wide, everything went down. And when the site came back up, the photo was no longer there. The thread was no longer there. And that's very unusual because if the site were going down organically, the person who posted it, it's not like they'd be able to get in there and delete it, right? So how is it that once the site came back up, the photo was gone? Now, interestingly, I mentioned earlier that there was a Pastebin folder that was started and that Heavy.com wrote an article about the mystery. Both of those links are now dead links. They're deleted. And a lot of the Imgur files, like the Imgur original links that you could click on in the different threads, pretty much all of those are deleted now too. So it's weird. I mean, I don't know anyone that logs on to Pastebin or Imgur after they post something up there and deletes it. I've never heard of that before. Usually it's just like, here we go, uploading it into the ether so that other people can see it. So I don't know. What do you think about those points towards the photo being real?
This kind of ties into what I'm going to be talking about in the next episode, because there's a point in my episode where I go into an Imgur that has been archived and some photos appear to have been deleted out of it or never were in it or were missing. And that's something that I thought about too, is I was like, I mean, what is the likelihood of someone coming back several years, like almost a decade, back into this and deleting something? Probably not much. I mean, we know for a fact that the site was shut down.
We do know for a fact, yes. There are records that show the cloud servers that host 4chan went down. Now, there's some debate because servers do go down sometimes. I mean, that doesn't mean something nefarious is happening. It could have been down for scheduled maintenance. They could have been down just, I don't know, a satellite went out. I'm not super tech savvy, but stuff doesn't work sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes updates of software get pushed through and all of a sudden you can't access a website, or it's closed for maintenance. So that to me doesn't seem nefarious on its own. What people say makes it nefarious is that it's very unusual for a site to go down and then when it comes back up, that thread's not there anymore because it had already saved. It already had, 20 comments on it. People had seen it. Enough people had seen it that they remember it. But then when the site comes back up, it's just that question mark that I sent you. It's like a question mark image, meaning that an image has been removed from the original post. And then other people say it's also really unusual because 4chan has its own archive site and it's pretty much constantly updating. So if you want to go back and look at older threads, you should be able to find everything. But for whatever reason, that one doesn't appear on the archive. Let's look at the points towards the photo being fake. There are some inconsistencies with the narrative. Some people claim that the original photo was posted to the Paranormal Board X, while others say it was posted to the Politically Incorrect Board Poll. Some claim that the caption listed the words Lab H4C, while others claim the caption read Lab H4. There are also some that claim that the large amount of different photos, sketches, and collages and recreations point to the photo being fake, because after all this time, how is it possible that not a single person would have downloaded it or re-uploaded it by now since the story is famous? Some also find it hard to believe that that one of the images floating around isn't the real image. Like, a lot of them think one of those probably is the real image, but the people who saw it originally probably only saw it for a few seconds, then the site goes down, so they're just remembering a very brief memory in their minds and building it up to be something more than it is, and that probably more than one person has realized that one of the fake images is what they saw, but at this point, it's like you're in so deep that you don't want to admit that you were wrong. You know what I mean?
And they have an emotional attachment,
Right.
Just because you saw something fake doesn't mean you're not going to have a real reaction to it. You would still be like, okay, well, that fucked me up for a long time and I don't know that I can recover. So what do you mean it's fake? I'm just going to continue living my life as if it actually happened because it's too complicated personally to try to change my whole perception of what reality is.
So yeah, I don't know. But there could be some psychological aspect at play. A lot of the skeptics say where people probably by this point have realized the original was a LARP, but they just don't want to admit it, or maybe they're just perpetuating the rumor because it's fun. 4chan has a history of trolling, and it's also well known that 4chan is an alien UFO roleplay haven. Like, people love to post on 4chan saying that they're whistleblowers or saying that they have information nobody else has. It's well known, like right. QAnon is spraying from 4chan.
Yeah, that's where Q posted. So
4chan is very well known for LARPs, live action role plays. Like, people, ARGs come out of 4chan. So it's hard to take anything there seriously. And so people say this is probably just another example. Now, the third category is very interesting. The third category is that there never was a photo, that maybe there was a thread posted, but maybe it was posted with an already corrupt artistic photo, or maybe it was posted as a giant question mark to make it look like a photo had been removed, and that over time, the internet urban legend zeitgeist has just ran with it to the point where now everybody thinks that it used to be something, but perhaps it just never was.
And it was a coincidence that the site shut down when this photo that was actually not a photo, it was just a blank screen with a question mark on it, was uploaded.
So that's one category. Another category is that there was never any thread. And that instead what happened is somebody, after the servers went down and then came back, somebody decided to play a prank and posted something saying, hey, did you guys see that crazy alien photo? It's no longer there. Does anyone have it saved? And then people start saying, oh yeah, I saw it too. And there are some points for it. I actually have an interview that I did that I'm going to insert here now from a guy who he used 4chan at the time, and he claims that this is fake. There never was a photo. There never was a thread. Before the site went down, a thread was started on Poll that said, hey, let's all pretend that there was an alien photo and see if we can get this into the mainstream media. So I'm going to insert that interview now. I guess my first question is how long you were a 4chan user for, or were you kind of a casual user? Were you an everyday user, since the story that I'm covering takes place on 4chan?
I was pretty much an everyday user. I've been on that website since like middle school, I want to say. I'm in my late 20s now, so it's been a while. I don't use 4chan anymore. I stopped using it like maybe a few years ago. But yeah, I've been on there for quite a while.
You were online the day that the alien prank started, right?
I was there when they were making the posts to make these I wouldn't really say like a prank. So what they were doing during that time on 4chan, especially on random on the board on B, was that they would post like, oh, I'm gonna make this post soon, so let's just kind of gather around and be on the same page so that we could later on egg it on and do this prank, right? And it would be about random stuff. And so this time around it was about like an alien or whatever, that this guy had like access to this picture or whatever. And so it was this whole ordeal.
You said that was not uncommon, right? That people would join B and kind of try to start these sort of trolls or whatever you want to call it. Can you kind of explain that a little bit to anyone who might listen to this episode that's not familiar with 4chan?
So on 4chan, especially on B, on random, you could literally post about anything. So it could go from like something really innocent to something just really inappropriate, or it just ranges, right? So the way it would work is you'd post something, and if it wouldn't get any traction or much replies within a certain time frame, it would just erase. It would delete itself. So when people would post on here, they just post about almost anything. But in this particular case, people would post something saying, hey, I want to do this like troll thing, so I'm going to go ahead and post on here. Like, for example, this alien thing, I'm going to say that I got this picture of an alien and I want all you guys to be in on it. And on the new post, I want everybody to just act like you don't know what's going on. Like, this is completely new to you. So that's exactly what happened. So as soon as that post got deleted or ran out of traction, the poster then posted again, this time with like a code word, or people already knew it was going to be posted, right? So then they would start chiming in and egging it on and saying, oh, I never seen that photo. Where'd you get that photo? And he's like, oh, I got it from, I honestly forgot what he wrote. I think he said he got it from like some clearance or something like that, like some high class, top secret clearance at his job or whatever. But yeah, I was there when he had originally made the post that he was going to make this troll thread about having this leaked alien photo.
Do you remember what the photo looked like? Because in researching the story, I had heard about this story for a long time and I just never looked into it. And then when I was looking into it, I found like 100 different photos that people are like, oh no, it's this one. Oh no, it's this one. So, and then some people say there was never a photo. So do you know what the photo was, if there was one?
There was a photo. I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but it's funny because seeing a lot of AI photos now, just in general, it makes me remember like that picture looked very AI looking. Like it just looked really uncanny, but it was just so much Photoshop going on in it. And it was a really poor quality like Photoshop picture. You could tell he didn't really try. Like he just got, I don't know where the alien itself was from, but I think later down the line somebody said that they had seen it on some other website where some guy was making like 3D art or something like that. And so what people were doing was that they were posting their own pictures of that alien, just trying to recreate it and throw everybody off and make it seem like they were trying to recreate it from memory. And so they were a few of them were making it on purpose, like to just look as bad as they could, trolling, I guess.
You're saying that this kind of started on the B board, the random board. Why do you think it now the narrative has like switched to, oh, this started on the X board, or I've seen some that say, oh, this started on the poll board?
So that's what I was actually going to clarify just now. I don't remember where exactly it started. The reason I brought up random was because that was the board I would frequent the most. My memory is foggy on where it was posted, but I know that I would go on poll, which is I believe politics, having to do with like politics. I would go on X, which is a paranormal board. I believe I read somewhere because I was trying to catch up on my memory here. It was posted on a different board. I don't think it was random. It was on a different board, if I recall correctly. I remember not really chiming in much during all that. I was just really reading it and just kind of and thinking it was only gaining traction on that board until I saw it maybe, I don't know, a few months later. I saw that it was all over like Reddit. It was all over the other boards on 4chan, especially X. And I was like, oh, wow, this actually got some people. I mean, personally, I wish that it really was a real alien photo because I would have been stoked because I'm super interested in aliens, UFOs, all of that. But, you know, the one time that I was there to know that it was fake, maybe the word fake is too harsh, but just knowing that it was orchestrated like that, kind of makes it funny for me. But I do wish it was real.
Can I send you some of these pictures that I compiled and just tell me if any of them look like what the image you saw was?
I know there's a thread where people were arguing, like, no, it was this one. No, no, it was definitely this one. I'm like, it was neither of those. The actual one was like way worse looking than the ones that they created.
So the original one, can you give me like a quick description from what you remember?
There's an alien in the desert and he's like kind of facing away, kind of trying to like not look at the camera. He was also posting, or they, whatever, was posting like concept of the photo so that everybody could also be on board on what they're going to remake. So yeah, the whole, I don't know what the word is, but context or concept of the photo was an alien in the desert facing off towards like the camera or away from the camera. So that's why all the photos you're seeing is literally the desert and an alien facing towards the camera or away from the camera.
But none of these are the one.
None of these are the original one.
Points
wow,
against
the journalism
this
is journalisming.
Dude, the journalism that should never occur is what our show is. Like, this is like, there's a reason why nobody has wasted their time on this but us, because it literally doesn't matter. But you know what? It's fun, and that's what our show is. Now, points against this person's take on the thread is that I also interviewed another person who says that they saw the original image. They were on 4chan. It was real. They saw the thread. Now, with all of the information that we have learned today, Natalia, which is way too much information, what are your final thoughts on the alleged photo of an alien that shut down 4chan?
It's a great episode.
Do you think that there's a chance that there was a legitimate photo that was posted of a real alien, or are you leaning more towards this is a classic 4chan meme troll?
I want to believe that there was a photo of an alien uploaded to 4chan. Okay.
Me too.
Tangent here for 1 second. Back in the day when I used to go on 4chan around this time, I remember once I was in the fashion boards and someone wrote a post saying, "Hi, I am an international pop star. I make like $350 million a year," or whatever it was. "I live in New York, and I am, I'm a Grammy award-winning artist," or whatever. And then they were like, "I'm also very lonely and sometimes like very emotional, and I come on 4chan to, like, I don't know, communicate with the public because I don't have a lot of friends in real life." And it was like an AMA, like, ask me anything. And so some people were like, "This is bullshit. Like, there's no way this is a real person." And then someone else put it together and was like, "This is Taylor Swift," because they put it together, like, her exact income of that year was like 350 million or whatever it was. And like however many Grammys she had won was the amount that person was saying. And she lived in New York at this time. And then they also posted a photo of her, like, I don't know, like something that alluding to the fact that she had already posted in the 4chan boards before, because she had like responded to some stuff or something, whatever. And so in my mind, I'm like, this is fucking Taylor Swift. Like, I'm gonna ask a question, you know? And so I was just like, "Hey, Taylor, like," or whoever you are, "if this is true, how do you rectify mistakes you made in your past? Do you ever feel like if you would have changed some things, you would have been in a better or worse off position than you are now?" And the person pretending to be Taylor Swift or not pretending to be Taylor Swift didn't respond to a lot of people, but they responded to mine and were like, "Honestly, I'm terrified of thinking about anything in my life having been any different than it is now, because I know I wouldn't have gotten to where I was unless like all of the cards fell perfectly into place." And then, you know, people started saying like fucked up stuff. And so they, you know, shut the whole thing down and stopped responding to people at all. But to this day, I choose to believe it was Taylor Swift. It seems like something she would do. You know, she go on 4chan anonymously and like try to get attention or talk to people or try to get inspiration for her songs. And the way that she responded to me, or the way that this person role playing as Taylor Swift responded to me, did seem to match up with like a lot of what Taylor talks about. She's sort of controlling about her life. There's no time to explain. Listen to the episode we did on Taylor Swift conspiracies to understand. But going back to this alien episode now, I believe it. I believe it because if I don't believe it, then that means I didn't talk to Taylor Swift. And it's human nature to want to connect with other people, or to want to get information, or to want to share these crazy highs and lows that we have as humans. That's why in that video of the man seeing the UFO, he's like, "Fuck, get your mom. Like, you know, someone else needs to witness the shit that I'm witnessed." Or it's like, that's where we're a community, you know, we're a society. Like, we are a tribal social creatures, and we want to share crazy fucking experiences. And so I could see if someone had this photo of an alien, even if they worked in like a government sector that no one's supposed to know about, in the same way that I could see Taylor Swift wanting to go on 4chan and talk to people because she was lonely.
Yes, I see what you're saying, that just because a message board is anonymous doesn't mean that there aren't real people behind those anonymous screen names. And perhaps even use of a anonymous message board system might be more beneficial to people such as alien UFO whistleblowers or celebrities, because there's no way to trace it back to you unless you yourself accidentally reveal some information that doxes you. So perhaps then it's not too far-fetched to think there could be some people posting on 4chan with real information and not just memes and jokes and trolling. So, yeah, I agree with you, though. Overall, like, I just really want it to be real, because I love the idea of a real alien photo being posted somewhere that then we can possibly recover. I also really like the idea of an alien uploading a selfie. That, to me, is really fun. And I feel like if I were an alien and if I were me and I traveled to a planet that is not Earth, and it's super far away, and I have spent years there learning about the culture and customs, and I realized that there was some sort of alien social media, I would probably upload a selfie as long as I knew it was an anonymous message board and be like, hey bitches, it's me. And then there'd be some weird fucked up looking bug guys that are like, no, ew, so gross. We have black prune eyes, and this one had like wet looking chameleon eyes. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I just feel like that would be the response. Well, Natalia, thank you for coming on this internet mystery journey with me. I had a wonderful time. Everyone, don't forget to head over to our Instagram account at Let's Get Haunted to comment on the photo dump. And also don't forget to head over to our subreddit, r/Let's Get Haunted. And if you want more extras, including the unaired intro to this episode, go over to patreon.com/Let's Get Haunted. Natalia, are you ready to do our sign off?
BRB. Gonna go get my hoverboard and visit Harambe back in 2016 in a time machine.
Bye.
Bye.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled haunting to bring you a special transmission coming from the Zeta Reticuli star system. Generating nearly 40 light years from Earth, the broadcast you are about to hear is the alleged voice of a group calling themselves the Annual Haunties.
Cool Blues Mama,
Miss Natty Cat,
Shark Michael,
Elena B,
It Me, Ariel G,
Cassie R,
Cat L,
Ember B Haunted,
Hannah Mac,
Highness Hiccup,
Jade is thinking,
Gawk Spookums,
JB,
Joshua K,
Julissa D,
Lexi L,
Ephraim,
Snazzy, Mary Grace G,
Malik,
Mary Elizabetha,
Sarah,
Tara Lee,
Sad Girl Shell,
Lupe D, Doc Spookums, Rose B, Shark Michael, Sarah R, Alyssa B, Ephraim P, Soleil, Ariel G, Jennifer P, Cassie R, Cool Blues Mama, Mary Elizabetha, Ellie J, Nicole without the H, Eunice A, Micah B, Mika B, Sad Girl Shell, Jackie G, JB, Kevin T, Tiffany S, Interix, Jody G, Rachel V, Kat L, Joshua K, Ember B Haunted, Delilah F, Tara Lee, Jello R, Perry I, Elena B, Barrett is in the bathtub, Erica B, Jessica W, Julissa D, Amanda, Jess M, Miss Natty Cat, Mary Grace G, Hannah Mac M, Brian G, Omar M, Lexi L, Robin V, James H, Molly, Courtney, Betty T, Kiki M, Highness Hiccup, Alex, Rachel M, Jessica P, Katie D.S., Maddie, Katie P, Cosmic Squid, Caroline, Jasmine M, Jade is Thinking, and Samantha G. Thank you all so much for being annual donors. We really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for pledging 12 months of support to us on Patreon. It's haunties like you that make our world go round. If you're listening to this and you're not yet a patron, you can head over to patreon.com/Let's Get Haunted in order to sign up today for either Tier 1 or Tier 2. Tier 1 is $5 a month. Tier 2 is $10 a month, and you get different rewards at every level. And if you're interested on shouting yourself out on a future episode, that means you're going to have to wait until we open back up our annual donation option. And now it's time for the secret password of the week that you will comment on the photo dump for this episode at Let's Get Haunted on Instagram. And the secret password of the week is Taylor Swift is an alien. See you guys next week. Bye.